is Mary Edwards. And introducing Mary Edwards is wine writer Steve Hymoth. Steve.
Good evening. Mary Edwards is in an ironic position. She's a famous, successful woman winemaker in a field that was notoriously unfriendly to women until comparatively recently. And yet, she's also a human being who told me, quote, "I have been totally unconscious of my sex. I consider myself a winemaker first, and I don't see how gender comes into that," end quote. Well, gender shouldn't come into that, of course, any more than race, ethnicity, or sexual orientation. Ability is what counts, and ability is why we honor Mary Edwards today, this evening. But she did have to struggle to get where she is precisely because she is a woman, and this fact cannot and should not be overlooked. Today, Mary can chuckle at her war stories of the time a Napa winery owner, not far from here, wouldn't even consider hiring her at a job interview solely because of her gender, of the tendency in the 1970s to relegate women to the laboratory because they were not considered suitable material as winemakers, of the old boys network at UC Davis, under which male professors made sure their favorite graduate students, invariably men, got the good jobs. I said that Mary can laugh at these things today, but at the time, these were stinging humiliations and more obstacles to be overcome. As with any struggle involving prejudice and civil rights, it takes a certain righteous anger to break down the barriers. Mary Edwards possesses this quality too. She lets nothing stop her. The first commercial Pinot Noir she made was at Mount Eden Vineyards. She was working for the late Dick Graff, who had co-founded Shalom. Dick was gay. So was the late Maynard Amory at Davis, who was indirectly responsible for Mary getting that Mount Eden interview. Mary once told me, quote, "I had this little group of gay guys who understood that I was in the same position that they were, namely that of being isolated and rejected." She said, "They were my moral support team." And just as Mary was mentored on her way up the ladder, Mary formed within herself the core value of helping others. Asked what she considers among her signal achievements, she cites her support of young women coming into the industry. From Mount Eden, Mary went to Matanzas Creek, where she was an early champion of French clones. Along the way, she got married, had 2 kids, and eventually, with her husband and partner King Cooper Smith, launched her own Mary Edwards brand. Relatively late, not until 1997, because no one ever handed Mary anything on a silver platter. And it wasn't until 1998 that she first planted her Meredith Estate vineyard. Today, as the world knows, Mary Edwards is celebrated as one of California's greatest Pinot Noir masters, although it also has to be pointed out that her Sauvignon Blanc and Chardonnay are excellent. Mary has overcome every obstacle that life threw her way, and done so with dignity. She's now been in the business close to 40 years, but whenever Ken asked her if she's going to retire, her response is, "Winemakers don't retire, They just keep on going until they drop by the side of the road. Well, I think the road ahead for Mary is a very long and productive one.
Gentlemen, I am pleased to present this award to Meredith Mary Edwards, honoring her into the Vintners Hall of Fame class of 2013.
Well, pretty big step. I'm a little overwhelmed actually right now because my family's all here, and you know, you look at your life and you don't really think about what you've done. And I'm really happy that I've been able to contribute in such a meaningful way to the industry that I've been part of for almost 40 years. But you know, you can't do it without other people. So along the way, I've had so many people to help me. You know, starting with my grandmother who inspired me. She was a farmer. That's really where I got into my blood. You know, along the way, I had my gay support team, five wonderful men, and I've lost most of them now. But they helped me. I never would have made it through the door without them. You know, and I had a wonderful employer when I went to Matanzas Creek. You know, I thought I could have a child and put my first baby in daycare. Was I wrong? I just strapped that baby to my chest and went to work. At Harvest, it made it a little hard, so she hired a nanny for me. That was Sandra McKeever now, who owned Matanzas Creek. But not everyone had the support that I had. Not all young women have an employer who understands them and their need to be a mother and a winemaker. I got lucky. My parents supported me. Helped me through Harvest. My mom would come out. You know, so along the way, I couldn't have done it. I couldn't have done the winery now without my husband, Kim, without my family. You know, my sister's my controller. My kids work for me. Leslie works for us. Just so many people help. It's a team, you know. It's not just one person. I get all the credit, you know, but I get the medal, but I couldn't do it without all of them. And so people ask me, what's the best wine you've ever made? And I said, well, I've got to be dead for you to figure that out. So I'm just going to keep on doing what I do. You know, I feel like every day I learn something, and I tell my young staff, who I try to explain what it means to make a wine and project into the future what that wine will taste like 5 years from now. You know, I try to encourage them to work with me. But I see the future as big. We're still doing research at our winery. We just developed our whole new phenolic lab. I mean, it's just a wonderful thing to get up in the morning and you know that I'm going to have a great day and I'm going to learn something new every single harvest. So thank you so much for all of your support.